Hey guys, welcome to Psyly, guys. This is my name's Frank Castillo.
I'm Ian Mccall.
Yeah, there we go. And today's guest is my good friend Steven Randolph.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for
You're
being
welcome.
here,
Thank you
bro.
for having me. This is fun.
You're actually sober, so you don't do mushrooms.
You don't do
mushrooms.
Argos.
Yeah, you
No.
don't do. You don't. Do
But
that.
I when they offered it, I kept it. This makes a good gift. You know, maybe someone in my apartment complex. We have a new dog. We've been loud. Maybe sorry.
Good idea.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This will help your anxiety about my shitty dog.
That I've been giving you.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Not to call your dog shitty, I'm just saying. Yes, Argos.
You, by the way, have perfect fucking advertising, like facial structure and like just vibe. By the way,
And they're always kind of just moving a little bit. Like,
yeah. Which is, by the way, why you were one of the key fucking dudes at the store when we worked.
Oh, yeah. The sales?
Yeah.
We'll never hit those numbers
Yeah,
again.
the sales department. I tell you,
I would go home feeling bad. I'm like, we're doing something. You're counting the money. You're like, this somehow feels bad.
I tell you, I've had headliners hit me up and be like, "Hey, I heard this. I heard you guys. Is it true you guys used to like make a killing when you guys worked the door?" I'm like, "Hey, man, I can't confirm nor deny anything." They're like, "All right, can I just tell you a number and you can say yes or no?" And I was like, "All right, fine." They'd say a number, and I'm like,
You're
I
far
don't know,
off.
bro.
buddy.
And they're just like, "No fucking way," because there's guys that used to do the same thing like we did. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so that conversation's always different. So it's always
Wait,
funny. They're like,
what did you even do? I
"Hold on,
I don't know shit.
We'll fill you in just a second.
Yeah.
But they would ask
We
me-
could talk about it now, right?
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely,
it's done.
we can. Yeah,
It's done.
And it's also like, what are they gonna fucking do?
And it's done, right? We're not going to blow it for any future.
I don't know. There might be some door guys. This is also a perfect time for them just to take that away. So at this point, it is done. You know what I mean?
It is done.
It's so done. Yeah.
It's done.
So they used to let us sell booze at the Comedy Store. You know what I mean?
VIP.
And it's an old thing that happened from all the way back in the day, from fucking way back when, even in the Undying
80s.
up here. And, yeah.
The book, yeah.
Yeah. It's also just a thing. They do it at Maitre D's. You know what I mean?
Nightclub. It's a nightclub.
Yeah. You know what I mean? They give
Your
you
door
money.
guy. It's door guy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They give you money,
Yeah.
you find them a good spot, kind of deal.
Yeah.
We got to a point where it was like,
I didn't even want to do my spots. That's when I had a wake-up call. When it's like, you're on a sold-out Joe Rogan show, and you're like, why would I go do a spot
fuck stand up
for free when I you know what I mean? Yeah, it was a bad business move to do a spot at your dream job. That's fucked up.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a magician at the Magic Castle being like, not tonight, dude. I'm working the fucking main room, you know?
It was really funny too. Because remember, there was a point, like you even said now, you were almost like the voice of reason, Frank, where it was almost just like, guys, like, you know what I mean? But it's like being, for me, it was like being a cop that was like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm also still benefiting from this, but also like, come on. You know
You're
what I
the
mean?
cop
Like,
in the movie that's
with
like,
the
slow
conscience,
down,
like,
guys,
hey,
slow
guys,
down.
Yeah.
But you still got the side house in Phoenix, you know,
Yeah.
with bribe money.
Exactly.
You know?
I remember you coming up to me one night, and you just come out of the thing and you just have it in your hand, and you're just like, I think I have a problem.
I couldn't stop. It was it's just like the room's sold out.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan's on. You got, I mean, just lineups that we'll never see again.
Never.
And you've got a couple dressed to the nines, just got out of maybe an SUV that dropped them off. And it's like, dude, we're at capacity. And they're like, well, how do we get in? And it's like, yeah, you can't. Well, can I give you $20? It's like, it's not worth my job.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, what's worth your job? I'm like, man, this is my dream job. And then you just let them cook. And then you just, and then you just have a conversation. You know, 'cause they're already invested. For them, what they've had to go through before they got to you
Exactly.
is like, they're all in.
Yeah. Dude,
And once we realized that.
Dude, it was bad. Dude, there was times where like, man, I remember, because back in the day,
it's bad money.
Yeah.
dude, back in the day, it used to be it was one door guy making all the money, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when
Yeah.
I saw that, I was just kind of like,
I came in the tail. How were you? A year before me? 6
I
months
was a
before
few
me?
years. I think it was a few before you. I think it was a year, maybe a year and a half.
Because right
two.
when I got there, yeah, it was still like one guy made all the money,
Yeah.
and then it started being like, well, here's a little bit for
once
you.
once I started working there, I definitely was like, all right, we're splitting everything up.
You have to split it. You can't make rent that night,
Yeah.
and then 3 dudes are like, I don't know what I'm gonna do for lunch tomorrow. It
and
just doesn't feel right. That didn't feel right.
Yeah, I was always one of those guys where it was just like, these are my fucking brothers. These are my
Yeah.
homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where we really saw the fucking damage we were doing. We were like, if we sold coke in the 80s, we would ruin communities. We were fucking
ruined
so bad. It was,
Ruined.
dude. I remember there was one. I'm not gonna say who it was. There was one show we worked, and it was a big dude, and they came and he did like pop-up shows. Right, it was before he was canceled. And I remember this was like
narrowed it down to 12.
Exactly, right? Yeah. It rhymes with shmooey shishmay.
Who could that be?
But he was working shows, and I remember I was, I worked the door, and I remember like that weekend, I remember coming home and I had like $4,000.
Yeah, 100%.
After breaking everybody off.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, dude.
Well,
Yeah.
we had these little.
Fucking
The
heavy.
best thing they ever did is the Comedy Store made these laminated reserve signs for their friends. Like the general manager, hey, I got some buddies coming in I used to go to college with. Dude, now these reserve signs, you just go slap them on a few key tables.
Yes.
It's like, and people are like, what? It's always the woman. I'm married to one. Just, what about that table? And it's like, as soon as you hear that, you're like, you're in, bro. And the guys are just like, shit.
Dude,
And you're like,
especially
that's
once
Brad Pitt's table.
Once you got, once you got in there, and because this motherfucker's a salesman, bro. He
I
like
can see that.
he was like thinking all this shit, and then it got to a point where it was like, we started doing these psychology. It was like, all right, we're gonna put reserve tables, we're gonna put reserve signs on everything, and that's how we're gonna move. And then it got to a point where you could just like move the reserve times, and then you'd be like, I can't, that's my boss's booth. And then it almost became a performance, where the booth was not sold, completely free.
It was free.
And
it was a general admission seat. It wasn't even a good seat. I mean, there's better seats. People just want what they can't have.
People want what they can't have.
Why can't I sit there?
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
it's reserved for my manager, and I can't. You know what I mean? And then they're just like, "Listen, bro, you got to make this happen. What
You
can I
gotta
do?
make this happen.
How
I'm on a
what can
date.
I
Hold
do?"
on,
And-
let me call him. Let me go call my manager.
Dude, there's one guy.
Bro,
One guy had a walkie that was plugged into nothing, and he would talk. And the performance was
so good.
he would have fake conversations. And that was a level that I was like, even like oof.
Uncomfortable with?
Yeah, like I'm uncomfortable. He'd be like, hold on. He's like, hey boss. Yeah, no, we're doing great down here. We just, that table for your childhood friend. It's their birthday. Can we? He said $200. or I could do this for $200. And it's like, and the people would be like, thank you so much. And it was just a general. It's like, well, so if you go into the main room of the comedy store, the only thing I'm proud of, I'm not proud of any of this, by the way. The only thing I'm proud of is the celebrity loge. So there was the middle of the showroom. And then there's the wings, which there's not really a bad seat in the main room, but you're like front and centers where you kind of want to be, like a few back down. But then there's these wings on the side, and when we would seat, I would always say, God, I forgot the spiel. Hi guys, 2 drink minimum.
I'll never forget.
I can't believe I forgot it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Comedy Store. 2 drink minimum. Keep your phones on silent. You know what I mean? Keep your phones on silent. Oh damn it! Our bathrooms is back in the room. No heckling. Please, you will be asked to remove. We will ask you to.
No filming.
No
2 drink
filming.
minimum. God, I've said
I know.
it for
Oh my
5
god,
years straight.
we said it for 6 years straight.
Yeah, I can't believe
Holy
that.
shit.
2 drink minimum, cell phone on silent, no photography, the restrooms in the back,
of the room.
blah, blah.
No heckling.
And we do have.
Follow me. Oh,
and
we do.
and then you throw it in. We do have VIP.
By the way, we'll never forget this part.
Yeah, we do have VIP seats for if you
Extra if you're interested.
extra comfort.
Yeah.
And if there were larger people, we would say comfort. We would sell comfort. If it was like bougie people, exclusive. We have exclusive.
Yeah, the changing of the
Bro,
word is
it
just a
really
big
got
deal.
to the point where we could look people up, and also I got to the point where I could look a person like, I could tell whether or not this person was going to spend money to feel comfortable and not complain and just chill.
Yes.
Or if they were the type who were like, I paid for this, I'm going to complain, and then it's like,
You don't sell to those people.
Don't sell to those
because there are
fucking
people like, I want a special seat, and you're like, that's gonna ruin the whole business.
Yeah.
I mean, and there was like, it got out of control because there's 400 people. There's a show behind it coming in 400. We have all these
15,
things, and
we had 15 minutes to seat. Right?
it was us versus the 15 minutes to seat, and the servers would go, they don't have money to tip us or buy drinks because they're sitting in the celebrity section, Steven. And I'm like, what does that mean? Because what I would say is and I go, and then we have special the celebrity loge, what I would call it. And the girls the guys don't give a fuck. The girls go, celebrity loge. I'm like, it's very important, celebrities. I can't have you sitting over there what if I want to sit over there? It'd be $20 a person at least. I mean, I couldn't have you next to Brad Pitt and getting all weird. Just don't get weird. I mean, we had a drawer that was just like, it looked like In-N-Out Burger on a Friday night. It was just 5s, 10s, 20s, 100s.
Ridiculous, dude. It was bad.
We would go count it, and you would count it in a stall.
Yeah,
people are just snorting blow. You
We went
literally cash like this, and you're like, I can't.
It's so funny because at first we would just count it right there, and then it got to the point where it was so much money that anyone walking by would be like, "What the fuck are you?
What are you doing?" It couldn't fit in but one person. If you were holding the money, it couldn't. It barely could fit in your pocket.
So then we put it in that drawer, and then it got to the point where if someone just walks over and opens this drawer, we're fucked. It was like the scene in like the fucking heist movies where they gotta like fucking hide money in the walls and shit and like fucking package it. That's what it was fucking for us. It was like ridiculous. So yeah, it got to the point where like we would have to count it in the fucking like bathroom stall to make sure it was fucking.
Ari Manis just walked in. He owns these studios. He was actually the worst. The worst offender. We're talking about booth money. We're like how we would just sell a little bit of VIP. And
Ari's like, why are you fucking telling?
He's over there staring at his watch. Yeah.
Ari's like, we gotta monetize this, dude. He had a separate card reader for the VIP section. You know,
dude, it was.
I would like the real stories. I don't give a fuck about VIP money.
You hated working there the most of anybody I've ever met.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would give away $1,000 shift.
I know.
Anyone just so I didn't have to work the shift.
I know.
$1,000, I'd love it. I'd be like, it's yours.
Yeah.
Not take a cut either. Didn't have to pay me.
Oh, that was also the other thing too. It got to a point where like these shifts were so money that you could
sell them.
You could sell the shift off.
Jesus Christ!
So
I know.
You'd be like, you want the shift? That's cool.
I know.
You got to give me a percentage and a little bit of the cash.
There's one person, I'm not going to say his name. The schedule comes out. You get an email at 11:46 p.m. and you're like, oh shit, okay, like, and then you go to call somebody the next day or a couple hours later, like, hey, they're like, so-and-so I'm already working for so-and-so. And this one person had it to where he would have all the money shifts, and then he would pay somebody $80 to work the last 3 hours of his shift. So he'd go it was just, the guy worked
money.
6 hours a week and made fucking $1,000, $2,000 a week.
And just dipped. Dude, it was like so funny. I remember walking into the office once and the manager was like, we know what you guys are doing. And then we're just like, I don't know what you're talking about. I would play dumb every fucking time.
Me and Feng Chao, and I'll say his name because he doesn't care. So I walk in and Adam, the talent coordinator, is like, I got to talk to you. I'm like, damn, okay. He's like, what's going on with the booths? I'm like, I don't know why. And he's like, whatever you're doing, dude, you got to stop. And I was like, all right, cool. And so he's like, tell your boy Feng Chao. And I'm like, dude, Feng Chao's never going to listen to this, you know? And so then we go in the office, close the door, all the managers. And this is like our careers, dude. Yeah. And they're like, we know what's going on with the booths. And it's me and Feng Chao, and I'm like trying to be funny guy. Like, funny. This is just like who people really are. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, we love, and I'm like trying to like weasel out with humor and stuff, and like, you know.
By the way, best 5 minutes he's ever done.
Best 5. Yo, my life depended on it, dude. It was all on the line. Bombing was not an option, dude.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're watching you. We're just not firing both of you guys because we like you. But next time you're gone. And that scared me. And we were walking in to do one of those hot shifts, you know? And so I get out. Feng Chao didn't say a word. And I get out and I'm like, it's over. Feng Chao's like, we're going twice as hard tonight. And I was like, my heart just dropped. And I was like, it was just in the kitchen after they were like, Feng Chao came from China to do this. And it's like, that's all going to be taken away. Yeah.
He's a fucking
he
immigrant.
Came 3,000 miles to do this and they're going to take it from him.
It's the immigrant mentality.
Yeah. And he's like, we're never stopping. We're doing it twice as hard tonight. They're not going to be looking tonight.
They told me that and I was like, I gotta walk away.
No, because we walked to you. Because then next you were in there. I'm like, dude, we just got almost fired. I go, I'm chilling out. And Feng Chao's like, I got it. Don't worry. And he was like, they're
fucking beast.
I know. And then he gets fired.
Yeah. But he got fired for beating up a coworker.
For beating up a coworker in the kitchen.
Oh, it was great, dude. This place was fucking wild. We really just started off really crazy, and it's great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ari, are we ruining the booths for future generations?
They're already gone.
Yeah.
They're already gone. That'll never happen again.
Yeah.
It'll never be that good. It'll never be as good. That door guy class and that fucking those years that we were there.
Yeah.
It's probably the dopest that it's ever gonna be. I think.
Yeah. That was
Those Mondays were insane.
that was the best show I'd do all week.
Yeah.
Just to see as a fan the list of people that were going up every fucking night was insane.
What are you laughing at, Brian?
Just the sadness after. Those were the
Yeah.
best
I mean, yeah,
days.
of my life?
This is
Yeah.
well,
And they're over.
Yeah.
well, yeah, especially as like that point. And I was talking to Hannah about this, where it was like it's a sense of mourning, where it was like we didn't get the normal progression of the store is like you eventually quit, you leave, you do your thing, right? It with the Rona and everything shutting down, it forced everybody.
It
to
forced
just
the hand.
Make you know what I mean?
Make the jump.
Yeah. So it definitely was like it wasn't like the classic ending of like, oh, we all just kind of moved on, blah blah. It was just like
Got on TV, had to leave.
Done.
Like, yeah, I know. I remember Dean said something interesting. It was like in the
finally, right?
oh, bad up. He's like, this was like 2 months before it happened. There was probably like 1,000 or 2,000 people in the building that night. You know, it was like every room is sold out. And he's like, this can't go on forever. And I'm like, what are you talking about, dude? And he was like, this could just all vanish one day.
So it's Dean's fault.
He put that into the ether. Fuck him.
Him and Santino said that to Chelsea. He's like, it's not going to be like this forever. You know?
That's just how the world works.
That ginger voodoo.
And you know that Abby Ramirez was telling me that Saddle Ranch is now the hot place to go?
Yeah, you know why?
Because the TikTok influencers?
Because David Dobrik.
Which guy's that?
He's a YouTuber. He shot a TikTok at Saddle Ranch.
And that's what happened.
That's
so
what blew
people
it up.
fly out.
Yep.
There's a line like it was to get into the comedy store.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're going into the fucking Saddle Ranch?
These chicken tenders are the best.
It's crazy. I live right here. I pass by. That's the hot place to go now.
After the store, I was writing for YouTubers and shit, and I like jumped from few to few, so I got to see their camps. They're fucking crazy.
Really?
It's just wild, man.
Like what? Like it's just like a business?
Yeah, it's a business.
Those people
Wow.
make so much money. It's crazy. The
When they're-
TikTokers and the YouTubers.
They're dying for content. That's why I get paid to fucking help write.
And most of them
That's
are they're the worst people to be around.
Mm-hmm.
They're the most spoiled, ignorant, arrogant people. It's fucking ridiculous.
Really? Like
Oh,
they're
dude,
like little movie stars? Or...
It's no, because and if you ever watch it, like they're not talented. Most of them are not talented people.
I don't get what happens to make it happen.
I
don't
have no
understand.
fucking
It's algorithm. A lot of it's algorithm.
Manipulation?
A lot of it's, not
Algorithm manipulation or
some of it is because a lot of it is like you know what it takes to get verified on Instagram?
Mm-mm.
3 articles.
Oh, okay.
You just have to be published in 3 articles. That's why like certain people with huge followings either don't get verified or they or people with like super small followings will get verified. And you're just like, why the fuck is this comic verified?
Interesting. It's
You know
3
what I mean?
articles.
I watched this person bomb on Potluck fucking
Yeah.
countless
every
times.
time.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't
Trip.
fucking change my name on it. I've been trying to change my stupid fighting moniker to just my name forever.
What's your fighting moniker?
Uncle Creepy. It was a bad
Uncle
joke.
Creepy?
Yeah, it was a bad joke.
That didn't age well.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was a bad. It was a.
I'm not on a podcast with Uncle Creepy. I just met him today. I don't know. I'm just.
I literally got out of rehab, and
Or
the
it's
first
a great
fight.
defense because you're
Let me
like,
explain
it's
it.
in his name.
What's that? It's in his name. Yeah. There's some honesty there.
Yeah, but I got out of rehab and I took a fight and I wrote it down as a joke because my friend's son called it to me. And then the next fight after that, I was the best in the world. So it was like a weird. I didn't think I was ever going to fight again. I thought I was just basically doing it for money, and it's stuck. And now because I'm an actual legitimate scientific researcher. I don't get taken serious at all.
Interesting. So
And-
that's your
And
handle.
I have to pay like $4,000 to change it, and I'm just stuck on no right now because I don't want to do that. But it sucks. All I want to do is just have my own name.
Yeah.
And not lose the check mark because that obviously leads me into a lot of interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sorry, complaining.
That's
No, it's okay.
hilarious.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
I can reach out and touch anyone on Instagram.
Most
with a blue
creepy
check
uncles
mark.
do.
Exactly.
You know? That's what they all say.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, but times are changing.
Yep.
You know.
So you don't do drugs anymore, but one of my favorite things was
Why
when
not?
we would work. Hilarious. When we would work, you would tell some of the craziest fucking drug stories, and that was the other thing too. Is you also used to do drugs.
Yes.
So when you guys first met, you guys were just like, "Man, isn't heroin?" Like it's always funny to watch
Yeah.
them, like because you guys start listening off the drugs that you've done or haven't done, and then it just always devolves into like the
it's
crazy-
it's
yeah.
it's why all roads lead there somehow.
Yes. Yeah. I'm lucky where I had the wherewithal to not inject anything in my veins, because I knew that I was a death sentence.
Mhm.
But besides, I put everything up my nose.
Yeah, I did it just on a. It's a long story. Can I give these? Ari, would you want these? Microdosing mushrooms to put in your box of miscellaneous drugs that I know you probably have.
Yeah.
Like,
Give,
what's that?
yeah,
got
give
a
it to him.
Okay,
I'll
Ari,
get you one
can I
there.
give it to you?
Oh, they gave them to you and you're giving them to
Yeah. I was like, I want to give them to someone special.
I'll give you more. I'll give you more for your neighbors.
And these are these are microdosing magic mushrooms.
Oh, is that what those are too?
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
corner?
Yeah,
Would you like a gift?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, there you go.
Thank you,
you.
Steven, and not to you guys at all.
Dude, I'm always looking out for you.
Do you ever do mushrooms?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. I fucking cried and had a
Wait,
freak
what?
out. Mushrooms are crazier than heroin to me.
Really?
Like not microdosing, but taking
An
like
actual
I am
introspective
not-
real trip.
I am not built for hallucinogenics.
Oh,
It
okay.
is just like I get scared. That's when I'm just like, oh my, because that's what my mind is all the time, and that just magnifies it to a world.
They're not for everybody. I mean,
They're not for
I've
everybody.
seen people have seizures. I've seen people go into go completely catatonic or have.
Heroin's no big deal. An eighth of mushrooms alone at your place, bro, and a scrapbook. I picked up my childhood scrapbook, and I remember, and I looked at a picture of me being born,
And just
it
bald.
fucked me up, dude. I'm flying. That's what I did. I went straight to my childhood scrapbook, and it was like it did something to the circle of life. I was like frying, and I was like, "That's me," and it was just, yeah. I didn't. That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's heavy.
Acid?
No, that was on mushrooms. But then I did
No,
acid.
have you done acid?
Yeah, I did it. I disrespectfully did
Wait, what?
hallucinogenics.
What do you mean?
Because I would go, I'd be drunk at a keg party. This is in the 90s. I'm a little older. I'm like, yeah. And people are like, dude, you want this? Save it for tomorrow. Camping, this and that. I'm like, fuck it. And I would just take, they're like, that's really, really powerful. And then I would go home alone. And then the walls would melt, and it was never. I never once tripped where it was like
in a safe,
positive,
a
yeah.
positive space.
It was always bad vibes, like at some fucking fast food place in Pasadena with Crips and Bloods everywhere, and I'm just, I never had a trip where it was a safe.
The three rules are set, setting, and intention. Are the three words. Set, setting, and intention. So mindset. Where are you? Setting wise. and intention.
Egotistical, scared inside, and hiding a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why they're not good for you.
Okay.
It would fix you and it'd help you with your addiction.
I already feel like I've got something that works.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not saying to switch. I'm just saying that's what it does.
No. I have a friend that uses them for getting off drugs and But for me, I feel like I've already made the leap. That I do meditation. Well, I'm gonna start doing TM. I do jujitsu. I do all these other things in addition to 12-step, and I feel like I'm cool.
It works.
Yeah, it works. I don't want to fuck it
Jiu-jitsu
up.
is huge. It's people have
Huge.
Any sort of
Huge.
physical exertion, but that sort of mental and physical chess is especially for someone as crazy as you or myself.
I tell him, I'm
You
like, I'm
have
going
to
for
have
mental
that.
health. I'm not
Yeah.
going to like wrap someone up, and that's always good to know.
That's why I go now. I go because
Mental health.
I don't fucking kill people when I'm just walking down the street.
I feel-
I don't want to freak out on somebody.
I texted him
You know,
because like I had some guy freak out on me at the fucking
me
on
too.
Franklin, and then I was just like, what the fuck? And I had to like text him. I was like, how do you not murder people with your bare hands like every day?
Yeah.
And he was like, I have to train.
Yeah.
And of course I'll never hurt. I haven't hurt anyone on the street in a long time. I think it's funny when people try and fight me. Like someone tried to fight me during COVID. I thought it was hilarious.
Really?
It was in
It was the first
in
time we
Hollywood?
met.
no.
I don't know, dude.
It was at line in Starbucks.
In line at Starbucks.
And the guy fucking got out of his car and was freaking out. And I was like, babe, look. Oh my God, he's going to try and kill me. I just stuck my head on the end, my face on the window sill. And I was like, hi. I was like, yeah, I'm a piece of shit. I'm an asshole. I'm sorry. You should. Finally, he got close enough. And I was like, dude, you should get in your car.
And what did he say?
He's like, okay. And just put his head down and walked off. And I was
Wow.
like, I didn't even, I don't. What if I would have got out and fucked that dude up? That'd be a bad idea.
What would it be a kick or a punch?
I love how you're like,
Whatever I wanted.
He's
What
like,
would you want?
What's the move?
Yeah.
It would. I mean, who knows? I mean, if I jump him in the
I always
face,
wonder,
do something
just-
silly. If it's some random person like that, I'll go throw like a flying head kick at him just to be weird.
That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Yeah, if
because
you
it's
had,
like
if you
wanna
could play.
yeah, you could show off.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. Because I've been able to do that sort of stuff my whole life. I I got kicked out of school in like second grade for jump kicking some kid in the face. Just because like I thought I wanted to try it. Got in a fight, he threw a ball in my face, so I jumped up and fucking.
Whoa.
And it was like I've been that coordinated little martial artist psychopath my whole life, so I'm really good at it. And now I don't ever have any. I don't have any urges to hurt anyone, you know. Even like I don't want to fight or anything, but I have the urge to get that physical release.
Were you on the
'Cause
UFC show, the Ultimate Fight show?
No. I turned it down. I was already the best in the world at a lower weight class, so
Got it.
I was over it. It didn't have the allure.
Okay.
But would have been a pretty good idea though. I mean, for my career, I guess. I don't know.
Wow.
Not a big fan of the show. It's just it's reality TV's. It's fine. I don't know.
It's reality TV.
Yeah. It's
The
not.
reality TV versions of like anything is
It's
never
horrible.
Really,
It's not the real.
No.
Yeah.
I was there for season 1. I wasn't on the show, but
You were
one of my
around.
best friends was the coach, and Chuck Liddell. So
Yeah.
him and Randy were the first two people.
I fought him in a tutu,
Nice.
in a ballerina tutu for
You
a
fought
magazine.
Chuck Liddell.
Before, yeah, like in like 2000, maybe.
Oh, for a shoot?
Yeah, he had for Big Brother magazine. He had a video game come out. And
I remember
I
that.
didn't know who he was. You remember that when I
Yes,
did that? Yeah,
yes.
I fought him in a tutu.
Yeah, I was
I
obsessed
always-
with Big Brother.
Big is the best magazine
Yeah,
of all
yeah,
time.
I always forget how old you are.
Yeah.
When you say things
The
like
heroin
The 90s?
preserved me.
Yeah. You were like
Yeah.
when you were like, I was in the 90s partying, doing acid. And I was like, I was born in 89.
Wow.
Yeah. You met my father too, and you were like,
Yeah.
holy shit, your dad is like every dude.
He's
I
like
could
my
do-
age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, I've done.
He's like every dude that's coached me in baseball. Every Los Angeles baseball coach looks like Frank's dad and acts like Frank's dad. 100%. 1,000%.
Yeah.
It reminds me of my brother. I've only seen him in a picture, and I was like, it's just like, oh yeah.
Dude, I follow Frank's dad on so dude, I'm a fan.
I have to tell this off air because
Is it gonna ruin us?
no, it's not gonna ruin us. It just might give my dad a little more trouble than it's worth.
Don't
But
give your
No,
dad
no, no,
trouble.
no.
It's pretty funny. I told a story about growing up with my father, right?
Mhm.
And you know, my dad was like, you know, he was a single father and he like fucking smashed a lot.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like told a story on a podcast, and he's getting married, and his lady did not like it at all. She was just like,
Oh yeah.
she was like, why is he telling stories like this? And I was just like, because it was like me growing up. Like I'm not gonna not tell it. And yeah, it was pretty. I felt like it was like it made me laugh really hard.
You never know who's listening to a podcast until you talk a little shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like Chelsea's mom would be like, "Have you heard Steven's podcast?" You know, I stopped doing mine a couple months ago, but I was like, "Oh, your mom's a listener." Never knew that until I mentioned her. Or you know, it's crazy who's listening.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Or you'll get like, do you ever get like a weird DM if you talk about like some childhood stuff? Someone from your childhood DM be like, "Oh, I heard that podcast." You're like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
I just forget that people are listening to these. I just get in the moment, I do them,
Yeah,
and
no
I
idea.
walk home and never think about it again.
Well, it's also like that's how it should be. And also the other
Yeah.
thing about it is, my wife made a good point. She was just like, don't not tell your truth because of someone else.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like maybe they shouldn't have been shitty.
An
Or,
asshole,
you know?
yeah.
Or like,
I'm writing a book right now. I started writing a book in quarantine. I'm almost done, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna like. So I have to like think about because I chose not to edit myself while I'm doing it because I would just cripple things. So I'm just writing it like the truth, my whole life story. And I was just like a couple chapters. I'm like, bro, we're gonna have to figure this out because people will go to jail. There's, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
this guy's married now and he's
Yeah.
a dentist. Like, you know what I mean? It's like this guy, you know.
Statute of limitations.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Change some names.
Yeah,
you know.
that's all you gotta do is change names.
yeah, and that was the cool thing though. When my dad called me about it, he was just like, "I'm never gonna censor you or ask you to do."
That's
anything."
cool.
And I was like, "That's dope. That's a dope dad to be like, I'm not gonna censor you. It's you do what you have to do on stage."
That's cool.
And I was like, "That's dope."
And he kind of likes it a little bit.
It
when
was
you talk
also
about
yeah,
him.
it was, yeah. Well, also like I'm never gonna not stop talking about my father
Never.
or the experiences that we've had. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Especially
Mhm.
if they're dark or funny. That's how you make them cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The
So
story-
how you deal with them?
Yeah, the story I told was my dad was hooking up with this chick and he brought me over. It was like the last time he stopped bringing me over to hang out with chicks he was trying to fuck
Yeah.
because
Oh, he was using you when he was trying to fuck. He was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, this
Where it was
little
like she's got a
Frankie."
kid too, I got a kid, they can play
Oh.
together kind of deal.
Did you have any idea what was going on?
Oh, of course I knew, obviously, but it was just like I remember like the last time I was like in my teens and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was like, "He's got a kid, you can come hang out." I was like, "Sure." And we got there, and the kid's like fucking 7. Like, it was like
And you're 14.
yeah, it's like a fucking child. And I
Oh
was just
my
like,
God.
Oh my god.
You're like, Dad, this is done.
That was like,
You
bro, I
did.
can't.
He needed
using
you.
me
He
as a
needed you to
prop
babysit is what he needed.
Yeah.
For real. And I remember
Yeah.
I was like, the kid was like, "Are you my big brother?" And I was like,
Oh.
"Oh." I'm only here for the weekend, dog.
I slept with a girl in some beach city one time. I just woke up drunk. I'm like, where the fuck am I? I was like, okay. I slept with this girl. She was a mother. The little kid was playing with me, and I don't remember if he called me dad or there was some weird shit happening in the kitchen with the kid connecting with me, and I was like, dude, this is not. I don't like this.
Yeah, you're like,
He's watching like some like vegetable, like not bananas and pajamas, but he was watching. And I was just like, I don't want into your world. I just wanted to fuck for like 20 minutes. Like, but now like I have a hard time even with my own family. Now I'm in this world, like in some random beach city.
Yeah,
like
the post nut clarity.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm like, what have I done? You know, it's like God. I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore.
Those damn kids.
God. I hooked up a lot before I met my wife. He tells me stories, and I'm just like, this fucking guy's.
They're gross. I was disgusted.
He reminds me of my father, and I was like, that's it. It's a whole different kind of level. There's a whole like just.
I was a professional athlete, and I was friends with a bunch of other athletes and celebrities. Like hanging out with Chuck, it was insane. And I got to we were flying to Vegas privately when I was a teenager, like it was a really crazy time. So Did
you grow up in San Luis Obispo or something?
No, I went to college there.
Oh, is that how you met him?
Yeah.
Wasn't he a bouncer?
Yeah.
There? Yeah.
Oh yeah. He was, I mean, I met him right before, he was already fighting and, obviously kind of famous, but it was before Pride, so I got to see his,
rise
to the top and
nice guy.
Oh, he's a great guy. He's like an older brother to me, and he's just he was such a pillar of the community, such a good person. He's such a genuine guy. But man, we got wild. Like the shit was so crazy. I don't even want to word it because it's gross. Like the shit that we had insane parties.
Have you seen the video of him getting caught doing blow at a UFC in the crowd?
No, but it makes sense. Yeah. I've done blow in the crowd with him at UFC.
Really? They're like,
he was the guy sitting next to him.
Chuck, and he just looks up and he's like, ugh! And it was like just this weird moment they caught. It's a funny video.
I took 5 grams and sat in the front, second row. Mushrooms,
really?
In Atlanta. The UFC knows, like they used to know, like especially if Ian had glasses on, don't bother him. Because he's doing something weird. And like, I think Rogan was the only person I just said, fucking powerful Atlanta.
Yeah, that's funny.
And dude, like 2 Chainz was sitting in front of us and Dwight Howard, the guy's like 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
He did this. And I was like, oh my God.
Growing.
Yeah, it was, dude, 2 Chainz hair was like his dreads were all woven like snakes.
What's it like watching fighting on mushrooms? You
Amazing.
See, like, what's your take on it? Like, what did you?
Well, I loved it. Yeah. I'm obviously been obsessed with this my whole life.
Yeah.
And to see it in that state was incredible because I was able to analyze things to make myself a better fighter. I was able to analyze the bodies and that's a big part of what I do is microdosing, teaching microdosing and performance dosing. Like if I was to ever fight again, I wouldn't take a microdose. I would take about 2 grams. That's a performance dose.
That was the other thing.
Through
this, he was telling me, and with one of the guests he was talking to me about how often people do mushrooms while fucking fighting.
Yeah, the UFC knows it's happening, so then they call.
Wow.
Oh yeah, they
Really?
don't test for it. And the thing is that they know it's happening, and they know that people are kind of doing it the wrong way. There's just a better way to do it, and that's why they bring me out to talk to people and to kind of inform everybody. And they don't test for LSD either, but I haven't heard of anyone taking LSD.
People take mushrooms at that level of performance of fighting, like it just makes it more in tune with their body.
Flow state.
That accomplishes or allows you into a flow state.
So what happens is you have all your senses get heightened. All 5 senses are heightened. Your body moves. Your kinetic efficiency is through the roof. Your brain, which is your stomach, is sending the right drugs to your processor, and you're able to slow. It seems like time slows down. You're able to just compute everything and see this stuff. You can feel their energy, feel their posture, their breath, where their feet are. The single microaggressions in their movement and stuff. And it's it opens up that much. So if you can get in that space and learn how to work with it, then it's the next frontier of performance, legal performance in sport.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like when I would do stand-up stoned all the time. You know what I mean? You're just like, damn, Frank's in a flow state.
Yep, exactly. and athletes like to be high when they do it, whether it's cannabis or whatever. Because
can you smoke weed in the UFC?
Yes.
So you can smoke a joint right before you go out now?
No. You can't have more than 150 nanograms per milliliter in your body.
So
Which,
what is that?
which is 150 nanograms is actually a lot. You could smoke that, like they recommend a week, especially depending on how much
week
fat you
out?
have. Yeah, depending on how much fat you have. But some people I know smoke week of.
Mhm.
You know, it's not. I guess again.
I don't think it should be, dude.
No,
I'm
it's
sober.
it's
and I
good
would be
for
like,
you and it protects
I
you.
don't care if they're stoned. Like if I'm fighting against this person, if they're on a ton of steroids and I wasn't, I'd be like, that's kind of unfair.
That's
At
very
this
unfair.
point,
Yeah.
I want them on all of the drugs.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
take
only
what-
way I want to
take
see them on
whatever.
UFC. Bro, I want to see heroin fights. I want to see fentanyl fights. Bro,
Yeah,
I want to see.
fentanylfights.com.
Oh,
That's the Instagram. Fentanyl fights,
Yes.
dude. Just like,
I just
yeah.
ripped a dude in
No-
half.
no
We're just
pain.
Like, whoa! Yeah.
fentanyl fights.
Did you ever see Felony Fights?
Yeah.
Wait,
Oh,
what?
God. Oh yeah, it was. They tried to get me to fight two skin.
Was that with Kimbo Slice? And,
No.
and all that?
No.
That was at Felony Fights. Yeah, I've seen it. It's
Wait,
like three Nazis versus a
yeah.
lowrider.
Yeah,
Or like,
for Cholo, yeah.
A Cholo lowrider. It's bad vibe as you could watch a video.
And
But
I know the guy that invented it. It was my buddy's older brother. It was
Wow,
a trashy show.
Felony
Like,
Fights.
hey,
It's
why don't you? We'll pay you
crazy.
$100 to fight this Nazi. And I was like,
was it out like in Victorville? It's
no,
always, like,
at the beach in Orange County, Salt Creek Beach.
Frank,
They filmed it.
gnarly.
Yeah, dude. And
like,
they
it'd
wanted me
be
to
like
fight
4 on
somebody.
5 and shit, right? Like they would have like
Fighting with sticks, like actual weapons and
it'd be
shit.
a prison fight in 4K. In 4K.
Yeah.
I remember, because it's like one of those things in YouTube where you're like, oh, I'm here now, and like you're looking at your wife sleeping, and I'm just like, wow, I'm watching this, and it's like
You're watching just
crazy.
violence.
Violence. It's like no, it's not porn. It's felony fights.
Dude,
you know?
people are biting each other. Some guy grabs one guy's face and fucking bites it.
It's
it's
crazy.
madness.
It's felony fights.
And it's crazy how that's the kind of crazy I am. Like I'll watch shit like that. and
No
just be
problem.
Like,
Yeah.
Like, dude, I watch people get hit by cars and shit. I have to be a crazy.
I have a
person.
video for you that might change your mind.
Oh, I saw. No, I watched
No.
a lot of fucked up shit.
It's
I went through like a gore phase
Yeah.
because I dated someone that was into gore. Weird.
It's weird,
This
bro.
woman that I was into was into gore that I lived with, and then I just was like, okay, and I got used to it. But I don't have a stomach for it anymore. I lost my stomach.
My wife,
for it.
she follows medical pages
Like that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's
shit,
what
and
she was
she'll
into.
just be like, "Hey, check it out," and I'll just be like, "What the fuck?" They're removing a bullet from his fucking
Brain.
forearm. And
Yeah.
you're just like, what? And everything's all open, and you're just like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"You don't think it's cool?" And I'm like, "No."
Oh my god. Yeah.
I don't have a react. Like, okay, so Rogan had a joke a long time ago about the friend you have that shows you all those sort of videos that finds that shit on the internet.
Yeah.
And he started to talk about Mr. Hands, about the
Yeah.
guy that fucked it
Yeah.
up by a horse.
Yep.
So then
Yeah.
after the show, I saw a show right before I fought in Vegas, and I was talking to him after, and I'm like, yo, I go, you know that guy? I'm that guy. He goes, of course you are. I go, did you know that they made a documentary about Mr. Hands?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Did
called
you see
Zoo.
it? I didn't see it.
Called
no.
Zoo, and he goes, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I'm like, I
That's
told
so
you.
funny.
But like the video I was telling you, it's my buddy sent it to me on Facebook. It's a guy tied up, hands and feet on the ground, no clothes on, and there's a pit bull eating his dick. It's
Is he
ripped
into
off.
it, or is this
No.
just...
This is like
he
cartel.
into it?
I don't know. Yeah.
It's in Mexico. A bunch of cartel guys are torturing
know.
someone. It's fucking.
Oh
and
my
I've watched
God.
other torture videos or
Yeah.
beheading videos. Like
yeah.
Yeah, there's
they're
a
really
video-
fucked
yeah.
up, but I'll watch them just because I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
just okay. This
let's
is
see
more
where the
trauma
line
for me.
is.
Cool,
Yeah.
I can absorb this. And that video, dude, it was real. I you hear about things like the cartel does or bad people do,
Yeah.
And
and then
it,
you see
you're
the
like,
video,
holy
and I
fuck.
was just like, whoa, it's tearing his dick off.
Yeah, I watched it.
Yeah.
And it was already gone.
I watched a dude's head get taken off by a shotgun at close range.
A shotgun.
Yeah,
I've seen a
because it's a
chainsaw.
there's a crazy thing about that where it's like especially with gore is that it almost gets to a point where it looks like special effects. In a
It
movie.
looks like an 80s
Yeah.
horror movie.
Yeah, and you're like, oh shit.
That's a
This is
yeah,
real as
this
fuck.
Is real.
Yeah.
I just watched Narcos Mexico, and I was just kind of wow. And I watched a lot of. I got really into in quarantine like the Italian mafia. So I'd watch just interviews with guys. So these are interviews that were shot maybe in the 80s of guys who were like 80 at the time. So like guys from like maybe 50s, 60s talking about what they did. And they're just like. I would send Renee Lancaster, comedian from the Comedy Store, like he and I would trade these videos all through quarantine, and the guy's like, yeah, what are you gonna do? Fucking cut his head off, and he was talking, hey, no big deal. Like, and it's just like, whoa, like that level of like,
Fuck
you
it.
know,
You know what's so funny
Yeah.
is
Monsters.
Yeah.
monsters.
Yeah.
well,
Just
there's
like,
there's
yeah.
different kinds of monsters. There's like beasts like this guy, physically fit, and then there's fucking like monsters that
I don't want to
feelings.
kill anybody. I
Yeah.
never want to hurt anyone. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
But
or at least
yeah.
not someone I'm getting paid to.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's different.
But
And then go
there's-
eat lunch after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
But there's people who are just like, no, I have to kill a guy. Like that's
Yeah.
just my job.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Like fuck, what was it? Damn it. Have you ever watched Jim Can't Swim? Is that what I think it's called on YouTube? It's this guy who breaks down interrogation videos for both sides.
Okay.
So he tells you what the interrogator's doing. but he
Oh,
also-
that's very
he also
interesting. I think that's
analyzes-
very interesting.
Analyzes what the person that's lying or why they're
ducking
doing
the
it.
question or
And like, yeah, it breaks down all that. So they break down all the famous cases. Like fucking what's her name who killed her kid?
Casey.
Casey Anthony.
No, I can't see any of the other one. Oh no, my bad. The girl who killed her Mormon boyfriend. And took pictures of it in the shower. Fuck, can't remember her
Took
name.
pictures of it.
You didn't hear about this?
Uh-uh.
Yeah, if I remember the name, I'd definitely say it, and we'd all be like, "Oh, that's who it is."
But what did he break down about it? What was the
Oh, it was
takeaways?
just like the like difference between like crimes of passions and then people who are just like this is just-
Sociopath?
yeah, sociopaths. Yeah, it's wild.
In rehab. There was a guy in there that was a hitman. That was my roommate.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. And he just didn't.
I have a couple friends who used to do that, and it's well, two of them are dead, but
Jody Arias.
Jody Arias, thank you so much.
Yes.
Jody Arias.
No, I never heard that.
It's a great story. You should check it out. My wife, when she was working at the hospital, she told me that one of her coworkers was talking about how a long time ago when she was like first starting like getting into psychology and stuff, and there was like doing her hours, she ran across her first like sociopath. So the only
Really?
time she ever ran across one in her career, and she was like, it was insane. It was just like
Just what is that created or is that just biological? Was that just-
biological.
it could be biological.
There's just no synapses where you'd be like, oh, this is wrong.
chemical imbalance.
Should I
too.
call my wife and ask?
Yeah.
All right. You guys want-
Also, speaking of interesting individuals that I don't know if if he really was a hitman, but my buddy who's a singer, he's going to be on the show and come talk about mushrooms. He's called The Last Knife Fighter, and he's coming out here I think to a show, and he goes, "Oh, everything I sing about, brother, is real." Like, and I was listening to one of his songs. It's about being a hitman. It's called "It's Only
Whoa.
Business,"
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "Fuck, wow!" Like,
there's a whole.
I need to get him on the show. And we can talk to him about it.
Wow.
There's a whole Mexican niche of music called like it's called,
Narco.
like, narco.
Yeah,
Narco
yeah,
burritos.
yeah.
I got
The
really
big
into
ass
that.
boots on, the tips.
And
Yeah,
that's all,
that's-
like
yeah.
real shit.
No, I got
Oh, yeah.
very into. There's a whole special on NPR about it, but I've been in narco music for 15 years. I just like stumbled on it because my friend we were in a Mexican restaurant. He's like,
he's
you know
also
what? There's
super Hispanic. He's
Yeah.
like he's not Mexican, but he's
I
like
know,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Southern California.
Like my dad.
Yeah. And like my friend was like, you know what they're singing about right now? I'm like, no. He's like, they're saying worse shit. This was like in the 90s. He's like, they're saying worse shit than Tupac's saying on Hit 'Em Up. He's like, these are death songs. I'm like, this song is polka music.
Bum, bum,
Yeah.
bum, bum, I'll
He's like,
kill
you're
your
talking
whole
about killing
family. I don't
yeah.
know what that accent was at the top of that, but it was like, I'll kill your whole family.
Do you know where that came from? The accordion and all that?
Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah.
German tourists
Yeah.
in the 1800s to Mexico.
Yeah.
Strange, right?
Yeah, that's why there's so many Mexicans named Olga.
Is there really?
Yeah, there's
There are?
there's a lot of Mexican women named
Really?
Olga.
And
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what else is
Interesting.
crazy? I didn't know this. You know how they do the al pastor?
Yeah.
It's a Middle Eastern way of cooking.
Yeah.
and
That's Middle Eastern?
Yeah, Hormuz was the one who told me. He goes, you know, there was a lot of Middle Eastern people that came to Mexico, and he's like, you could tell because of the way the food's cooked. You can also tell. He was
Huh.
like, that's why certain Mexican men, they
Mediterranean
have-
food.
He was like, they have that
Off
little.
the spit or whatever it's called?
He's
Yeah.
like, that's why they have a little red in their beard. He's like, that's why you have a little red in your beard. And I was like, what? And I looked, and I was like, oh shit,
Really?
they're fucking red. Yeah.
It's
I saw-
Lebanese migration, 1800s. A ton of
Oh,
them
shit.
came over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Babe,
Thank you.
hello. You are on the podcast. We have a question. Randolph, would you ask about sociopaths?
Are sociopaths, is it genetic or is it learned?
The thing with most like psychiatric diseases, most people can think it's like a biopsychosocial. So there's some biology in it. There's some like psychology in it, and there's also like society in it. So I think that some people probably have like the trait, and then certain things need to happen in order for that trait to like fully come forward.
Interesting. Yeah. So like it's in there. And then if they maybe watched their uncle kill somebody or was forced, like Saddam Hussein's kids, like were forced to kill people, then it just like, that just went off. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, or it could have been something like abuse.
Yeah, trauma.
Abused, them being like assaulted or
Mhm.
hurt themselves or being a victim themselves, and then kind of being like, like, oh yeah, I'm never gonna let this shit happen to me again. And they're like, if anybody's gonna get hurt, it's me hurting somebody, not somebody hurting me.
Wow.
Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome. Bye.
So we all fit that category.
Yeah. No one's gonna ever hurt me again.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm about a sneeze away from
Yeah.
fucking killing a few
Wow.
people.
Yeah.
No, it's we've all met those people.
Mm-hmm.
We've met those real crazy people, and not in a crazy in a good way.
Oh, now I remember the story I was going to tell. You remember the mic in? Thank you for reminding me. You remember the mic in the Valley? What was the mic that everyone went to? What's the name?
Liquid Zoo.
Liquid Zoo.
Yeah.
You know, I would always go there late night. It's in like where's it, Van Nuys area?
Yeah, I think little north of Sherman Oaks,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Van Nuys. Yeah,
What-
Sepulveda.
Yeah, Sepulveda.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know more about the fucking territories, but like,
Yeah.
it's a little rough over
It
there.
is rough. At the valley, the North Valley at night is rough.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're in there, right? We're waiting for I'm like the last spot up. We're chilling. It's like me. It's two guys playing pool. This big buff bodybuilder guy and like two chicks and like a handful of like just regulars, right?
Mhm.
This big buff guy's like aggressively hitting on the bartender, like just being fucking creepy as fuck, right? And the bartender's a chick. She calls him out on it, and he like gets aggressive and it's just weird. And then one of the guys running the show is like this small kid, right? He's just like, fuck you, dude. Get the fuck out of here. You're fucking being creepy. And the guy's like, I'll fucking beat the shit out of you. I'll whoop the fuck out of you. And blah, blah. And he's like, I don't give a shit.
Mhm.
He was like, you're being fucking weird. He was like, I'll take the fucking beating, but you're being weird. Get the fuck out of here, right? And this guy starts like fucking flexing on everybody, right? And he's a bigger dude. He's like muscly and stuff. You can tell he goes to the gym and shit. And he's just like an aggro guy. The whole time this is happening, there's two Mexican guys just playing pool, right? Silent, just playing pool. And one of them's just playing pool, right? And then he just kind of like stops and he's like watching everything. And the guy that's like big and muscly like looks at him. He's like, "What the fuck are you gonna do, right?" And you just see the guy kind of just look at him, and he puts his fucking pool stick down, and he starts taking his jacket off, and he starts walking over to the guy and his friend. Just the way that the guy spoke, I could tell it was a fucking problem. Like I was
my
like,
God.
he just looks at me and was like, "Bro, no, you don't do that. You don't." And like that's all he said, and I was like, "Oh shit." Like, we thought this guy was the problem.
Yeah.
But it was this fucking quiet guy the whole fucking time. And it was this thing, like, the way he moved, it was like, oh, this guy's a fucking real killer. Like, this guy is fucking...
And did he just shut it down, or?
No, the dude took two steps to the guy, and the guy that was, like, muscly as fuck could easily see it. Like,
You could
this
just
guy,
sense
you
it.
could just sense it. And the guy was like, all right, he just walked out.
When there's an actual predator, like, you know, I can
Yeah.
physically eat someone. That's what I tell people. I'm like, there's nothing you can fucking do about it. And when
I'm a one-stripe white belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
when
I think I have. I could fight it for a while.
you could, it would make it fun for me. Thank you.
I would just put a shield up like this.
It'd be cute.
I would sweep. Wouldn't that work if I would just sweep you? Sure. They're teaching me sweeps. You know.
He was like, I'm going to die, but it might take, I don't know, instead of like 10 seconds, 15
It'll
seconds.
be- it'll be fun.
Shift. It would just
15
be a
seconds,
shift.
right? Like,
You just
you're going to
pivot,
kill me, and it'll be
yeah.
like 20 seconds.
But when you actually have when you know I've been that crazy person before where you all of a sudden it's just like snap and you go okay and you just like kind of smirk and you just walk. It's like you just have that energy put out and people go like they get really afraid. And I get it because I've seen other people do it and you just look and you're like, oh shit, that was scary. You almost got the fuck beat out of you by this person and you have no idea you're being the problem, but this person now wants to eat you.
Yeah.
You know.
It was the greatest thing to watch when I saw that. And
That dude doing that?
I was just like, because immediately I was just like, oh, this guy's been to prison. Like I looked at him, I was like, oh, this guy's definitely been to prison. This guy's at least a felon. Like 100%.
There's a vibe.
There was a vibe.
There's a vibe that like once you cross that line, like there's a problem. You know?
Because
Yeah.
it's the different kinds of beasts and monsters. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Where it's like, this guy's a gym beast, obviously, because he's just, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's different than
That's different than the guy who's like,
yeah.
I fucking killed the guy that killed my brother.
Just
'cause he
shooting
fucking shot
random
a dude.
pool in Van Nuys on a weeknight.
Yeah.
That's where those guys. That's where you're finding some killer.
Yeah.
And when
yeah.
someone talks shit and you don't say anything, it's
Yeah.
just jack it off. Okay. You know, like,
Yeah.
or when people, they always do this. The fuck are you going to do? And by the time they pull their face back, they're sleeping.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've gotten in one fight in a long time, like as far as on the street. And it was a bunch of Marines in Okinawa. They picked a fight with a bunch of UFC fighters. And maybe there was
Oh, God.
9 dudes. I won't mention any names.
9 UFC fighters?
9 UFC fighters, including myself. And there was
just hanging out.
No, we were out there doing seminars. We literally just left the head of the special forces. Like we drop their wives off, we train them all
Wow.
day, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna go back out. We'll see you guys. You guys
Have some fun.
Yeah, have some fun with I'm the elder statesman taking the kids out, and I have the pictures. We're walking the kids down the street. I think it's 6th Street or something in Okinawa, and I see them getting into an altercation. And of course, I walk up very politely and listen. And they're like, "Hey, we don't want to fight. We're good. Like, we're here for you. We're UFC fighters. Like, what are you doing? Like, stop. We're just trying to be cool." Well, I flanked the Marines because there's about 30 of them, maybe 20 of them. And I, take my sweatshirt off, and I'm sitting there, but in the back, just watching I want to make sure these kids do the right thing and don't beat these dudes up.
So you think 6 UFC fighters could beat up 20 Marines?
Well, listen, I'll finish the story.
Yeah.
So then we walk.
Sorry, I don't want problems.
The main guy ends up talking all this shit. He's he was a problem.
Yeah.
He ends up turning around and seeing me, and then starts talking shit to me, and that's exactly what we did. Whoa, we actually did the whole try and punk you thing, and when he did that, then he fell asleep, and
A kick?
no, I just punched him.
Yeah.
And the other fighters saw me surrounded by a bunch of Marines.
Yeah.
They ran through this group of Marines. I only had time to turn. I dropped that dude, and I turned and dropped one more guy, and then someone real big got me in a headlock and wouldn't let go. And I was like, let me
Really?
go.
A
Let me go.
Marine?
Yeah, someone really
Yeah.
big. And
That happens sometimes. Like someone will just get you.
yeah, and literally he ends up going unconscious too. I felt a sharp pain on the top of my head, and then someone knocked him out. And I looked over, and every Marine was unconscious on the ground.
Wow.
And no fighter was over 155 pounds. No one fought over that weight.
Wow.
So a bunch of small dudes ran through a group, at least 2 to 1.
Yeah.
And these are trained Marines and assholes. The head of the special forces texts me. He goes, "Hey man, you guys good?" Because I heard what happened. He goes, "If anybody asks, you were with me all night." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, fuck those guys. They beat up tourists. They beat up other Marines.
Really?
Like
They beat
that-
up
yeah.
tourists and shit? That's not
And he's
cool.
like, they get in trouble all the time. He's like, so thank you for your service." I was like, cool.
Wow.
So I felt better about it, but that, I mean, it makes you realize these are hardened Marines in another country that go around picking fights, and
Yeah.
they had no business. They had fucking no business being
Wow.
next to us, and that just shows you like we have no business hurting anybody. That's
Do you
wrong.
know who Gene LaBelle is?
Oh yeah, crazy old man.
My dad worked with him, and my dad filmed
His
the
daughter's a
movie.
stand-up agent.
His what?
His daughter's a stand-up agent.
Oh, really? I didn't know
She's
that.
Adam Hunter's agent.
Do you know who that is? Gene LaBelle?
That's
Toughest guy.
Judo Gene LaBelle,
Judo-
crazy old
yeah.
man.
My
Was it-
dad was filming on a Chevy
Ronda Rousey's
Chase
old coach.
movie.
yeah.
Yeah, he's what is he now? 80 something or 90?
Yeah, he's
Who was the
he's
guy
in-
that did the bar fight videos?
Oh, that's Boss.
Boss
Yeah,
Rutan.
Boss Rutan.
We should
Yeah.
have. I'll get Boss on the show, dude. Boss is the best.
I'm a huge fan.
He's
yeah,
so-
I'll
he's-
get
yeah.
fucking
Uncle
murdered.
Boss.
Yeah, I'm a huge
That
fan.
video was my favorite.
Dude, he's so rad.
My dad was shooting Fletch Lives, and I was like a kid, and he came home and he's like, I was just shooting in the desert, and my dad was like on one of the stunt cameras, and they have an old man on a 2-story roof, and my dad's like, "What's that old man?" And they're like, "Oh, that's Judo Gene LaBelle. He's our stunt guy for the day. He had a cigar in his mouth, and he rolled off 2 stories onto a bounce pad." And my dad was like, "It was the craziest thing I've seen. This guy was old then, just this old man." And then he was like, "Did you get it?" To my dad on the camera. And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm gonna try it again without the bounce pad. It's just gonna be more real that way." And my dad's like,
What?
"You're gonna go on a 2-story roof?" He went on a 2-story roof with a cigar in his mouth and rolled off the roof onto like straight ground. And then got up and was like, "Did you get it?" My dad's like, "Who is this guy?" And then they're like, "That's Judo Gene LaBelle." And he like famously like put Bruce Lee in a trash can, kicked him down the thing. And did you hear like my dad said like, so then my dad started working with him, and there's like a sound guy that was like, "Hey old man, I know who you are, and I'll kick your ass." And everybody on the set was like, what are you doing?" And
He's
the
a
guy kept-
mean old dude. He will fuck you up.
he put him out instantly. And then did you hear about the Steven Seagal story with him?
I've heard about it. I don't know the
Wait,
details.
I don't know. Let me
So Steven Seagal, it was a Steven Seagal movie, and he was like, "I've trained my neck where nobody can put me out." And someone on the crew, of course, was like, "Well, Gene LaBelle can't. He's here. That's Gene LaBelle." And he goes, "Oh, no,
Was it the sound guy that got his ass whooped?
Yeah, it's always a sound guy." And he was like, "Gene LaBelle can." And he was like, "No, there's no way. And he's an old man." And so they were like, do it. And he goes, "I don't want to do it. I need this job. I don't want problems. I don't want to do it." They forced him to do it. It's a famous story. I don't know if it's true or not, but he put him out, and Steven Seagal shit his pants.
yeah.
And then that wasn't talked about.
Like
you
that.
know?
That's
It's like
what
this-
happens sometimes when you get choked out. And
Yeah.
you can pee and shit yourself.
And then he had to leave the set. He's like, "Fuck, I needed this job," and just walked off.
Yeah, and
But
it
now
makes
he's a
sense.
fucking legend.
He's a legend, dude.
Steven Seagal's a joke.
Really?
No, he's
Would you beat up Steven Seagal? Could you?
Yeah, but he's a giant, dude. That
Is
guy
he a giant?
People go, okay. He's when you see him next to someone like Chuck, he's got to be 300 pounds.
Wow.
He's huge. He makes Chuck look tiny.
How tall?
I'd say 6'6".
Wow, he's that big of a guy.
And that's why his stupid Aikido,
yeah.
or Aikido, how do you say it?
Hapkido,
Works because, of course, a dude that big can grab your wrist and bend it and do this. But like,
Yeah.
those moves do not work on trained people. They do not work on normal people. And that whole system is just bullshit.
It's not real, right? Yeah.
There's some realness to all martial arts, but they have been watered down over the years, and we've been sold snake oil. Have you seen all the stuff on like McDojo Life?
I've watched all like the fake like this versus. I like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu versus.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's always some dude getting choked the fuck out.
Yeah, it's like some kung fu, like verse kung fu or verse whatever. Or those Shaolin masters, the look on their face when they actually get popped, and then they're like, because they're trying to like block with energy. Have you seen those? They're incredible videos.
I think there was a big thing that happened. It was like
in China.
Was it China? Or was the guy who was like, I trained MMA?
Tai Chi master.
He
Yeah.
just went and started beating the shit out
Beating
of
all of them. They got mad.
Yeah,
the government, right?
Yeah, because these are Tai Chi masters.
Mhm.
These are respected people.
They're
And
snake oil. They're professional.
yeah, but I mean,
artists.
but Tai Chi itself, the whole obviously the Chi.
I'm into energy.
It's exactly. I'm into energy, but it's not gonna fucking save your life. And
It's not gonna stop a fucking punch to the dome.
no. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And we still have
Guys, I don't know
people.
if you guys know
across the
what's
world.
going on in the news. Maybe we should stop bashing China right now. No, I'm just kidding.
What's going on?
Obviously, it was a joke. It was a joke.
I want to go. I want to go to China. I have a black belt in kung fu. That was the first martial art.
I've always
I did.
wanted to go to China.
I told Feng Chao, I'm like, I really want to go.
I went there once. It was for like I was catching another flight. I was in Beijing for like 8 hours, but it was just dope.
Yeah.
When you're going to Japan?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And Japan. I love Japan. We should go to Japan. I got a huge following out there.
That's cool. I
They're-
always want to go.
That's my favorite big city, Tokyo. It is it's incredible. I'm with my two coaches who are savages.
My stepson
and we're
lives
like
in Japan.
and we're like
I know.
let's go for a walk.
I sent him gift cards.
Your stepson?
Yeah.
But like you see little kids walking home from school in a giant city like that.
Yeah.
And they're safe. Like if you leave your wallet somewhere, someone will grab it and find you
Yeah.
or bring it to the police.
Their whole thing
You know?
is it isn't here. It's finders keepers. Over there, it's like, well, I gotta return it because it's not mine.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
So like, if you lose your bag on the train, if you go back, you'll get it.
Really?
yes. Yeah. But there's also funny things like if you go to Japan, you ask for directions. If you ask them a question, they have to give you an answer. So just
Wow.
let that sink in. Even if they're wrong. Even if they don't know how to get somewhere, they will still give you fake directions.
Just
And they
because
told
of the
I'm
politeness?
still trying to figure it out.
It's
Wow.
it's a very and their racism's different.
Oh, dude, it's
where it's
gnarly
not
on
like oh, you can't come in here because you're fucking Mexican. It's
Uh-huh.
like, oh, you can't come in here because you're not Japanese.
Yeah.
So it's like
They're
you don't-
superior to everybody.
Yeah,
That's still racist.
but,
Yeah,
it's,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
not like it's not like
Because of you specifically, it's just you're not this.
yeah. It's like no. We
Yeah.
don't care what you are.
Yeah.
You're just not us. And when I got there, I was like, this is actually racism I don't mind. Like, you know what I mean?
That
Like,
doesn't sound different from the U.S. at all, honestly.
well, here it's like we'll hate you because you what you are. It's just like no, you just got to eat somewhere else. Like they're just polite about it. And then
Seats
like
taken.
yeah,
You
you go
can't
to
sit here.
You go to a different spot at a different restaurant. They're like, oh, we're so happy to. This place is made for people like you. And they're like,
My
"To
brother
what?"
went to India
Tourists.
and he just did a documentary on it, but he went to go to this hotel and the guy was like pointed to a sign. He was like, Indians only. And my brother's like, so what you're telling me is that you're racist? And they're like, yes, that is what we're telling you. And I was like, okay then. You know,
Yeah.
They don't
go
give a
to
fuck.
the-
It's
Alrighty then.
Yeah, I used to say, I was like, you know what? I respect the person who's just
It's
like-
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was honest. So I was like, I don't like fucking Mexicans. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, at least I know where you stand.
Yeah, it's on the fucking bar.
Yeah.
You know, it's on the marquee.
You know what I mean? I respect
Yeah.
that guy a little more
Yeah.
than who's just like, I love Mexicans.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah. And then I was just like, oh, we're getting fucked regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
India's another place I'd like to go, but I do Kundalini yoga. So I again back to kung fu.
Wait, Kundalini yoga. You eat a chick out while you fucking do pose?
Heyo.
Yes, that's tantra.
Oh, it's tantra.
You're thinking tantra.
Bikram.
Wait.
No, Bikram. You're thinking of that creepy dude.
Wait.
No,
What's
no.
going on? Is
Kundal-
there an
Kund-
actual yoga where you fuck your partner?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Bikram.
it's
No.
it's called it's well, not
Yeah.
yoga, it's tantra. They're I don't know. It's like sexual massages. It's I don't know. I can't really explain it.
I get it.
But yoga wise, like back to Kung Fu, it comes from India. They sent emissaries from, or China sent emissaries to India to learn to protect the monks. So they sent Bodhidharma over, and that created Kung Fu. He taught all the monks how to fight.
Interesting.
So it's like obviously that's like a spiritual quest for me.
Yes.
Got to run around that part of the world.
Fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Right? Why not?
Are we? You want us to?
Yeah, you're over an hour.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. All right,
We're good.
cool.
Yeah.
Anything we want to cover before we get? This is usually how it goes. We just start like
That
Ram-
was
just fucking
fun. I
ramble.
loved it.
Yeah.
I had a blast.
Yeah,
that was
I'm
really fun.
Still on mushrooms right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, I did mushrooms before I got here.
I took a little
I
bit.
couldn't
But
even tell.
I'm so
Yeah, I know.
hungover
It's
today.
pretty nice,
It's bullshit.
right?
Wow.
Yeah, I drank for the I got drunk for the first time last night I don't know how long it's been since Vegas, since like over a year.
Wow.
I don't drink much ever, and dude, I feel like shit right now. I'm like,
Alcohol's the worst drug. Of
Oh,
all.
it's
Yeah,
horrible.
I can't do it.
it's fucking horrible.
I love
Why-
everything
like,
else.
When I was in rehab, I was in. They locked me in a room to I went to this
To
hardcore
detox?
one to detox, and I just
Oh.
was shaking and from heroin.
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is the worst thing ever! Oh my god!" I was like really dramatic. It was horrible, but they were like, "Not as worse as alcohol." And I was like, "What are you fucking talking about?" And then this like
And they showed
this-
you the guy across the
a
hall.
lawyer came in.
it can kill you.
Just this
Alcohol
like
withdrawal can kill
good-looking,
you.
like conservative lawyer came in, and on day 2, dude, he started shaking and had to go off to 911 immediately. And I was like, "What was he on?" They're like, "Alcohol." And they're like, "That's what alcohol does." And I was
The
like,
alcohol
"Whoa."
withdrawals are crazy.
They'll kill you, and
there's-
they'll just sometimes you'll just freeze, and you'll just freeze and die like that.
You
You'll-
start withdrawing. You start withdrawing like the next day. That's what a hangover is. People don't get that. You're
Yeah.
withdrawing from alcohol right away.
I was right next to this guy,
It's a
and he
bad
just started
fucking
tripping,
drug.
and I was withdrawing off heroin, and it even shocked me. I was like, "This guy's fucked," and I'm like, "What could possibly?" They're like, "He's an alcohol drinker." I was
delirium
like,
tremens.
yeah, that's it.
Yep.
DTS.
Yep.
Yep. And
Exactly.
there's actually a very delicious Belgian white.
Delirium is very good.
Called that?
Yeah.
Wow,
it's
that's
a-
dark.
Yeah, it's a beer called Delirium.
That's a dark
Tremens.
ale.
It's
Little
fucking
elephants
great.
on it. It's good.
Yeah, you drink it once, you're fucked.
Wow.
Yeah, it really hits you up. All right,
Can I
before-
advertise my credit card?
Please,
Absolutely, go ahead.
please.
Yeah.
So I started a high-risk credit card processing business that everybody thinks is not real because I have a fictitious character that I do that sells shady things.
Yeah.
However, this is real. And that's probably not the best commercial for it at all.
I love
and
how-
can be used in the court of law.
Yes.
I only support gray, barely legal,
Gray market.
gray market businesses, high
Well,
risk.
eventually, companies like Argos will need credit card
processing. That's going to be the future. Right now, I primarily do
Cannabis,
CBD, glassware, cannabis, adult, guns and ammo.
Ooh, dildos.
Dildos. Yes, dildos.
I love that.
Frank really wants a dildo sponsor.
Yeah, absolutely, I do. I love.
Yeah, we
that
can find you someone.
Oh, dope.
Yeah.
I love that the beginning of this episode was like us talking about how we fucking like
The salesmanship.
Yeah, our crazy not scams, but
Yeah.
our crazy fucking how we got
The edges
our
of-
hustles.
yeah.
And then you're just like, guys, this is a real business I do.
Yeah. It's called Aqua Payments. You could find me online at Aqua AQUA-payments PAYMENTS.com. You could DM me. It's Aqua Payments on Instagram. Look, if you've got a glassware, if you've got a bong shop, if you've got CBD, I know what you've been through with PayPal. I know what you've been through with Stripe Square. Those aren't the tools for you. You wouldn't use a Honda to haul bricks. That's why you're going to use high-risk processing. There's a tool special for you guys. Give me a call. I'll take care of you. Say Frank sent you.
Yeah. All right. Before we go, I do have one more thing I want to ask you. Do you have any? This is very narcissistic of me to ask. but
Regrets?
No. Do you have any like memories that stand out with us that you were just that like Frank stories or anything? 'Cause
Probably a couple arguments.
Yeah.
A couple
Which,
arguments.
by the way,
yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, dude, I'm so sorry. Frank and I would both get super pissed off and just almost fight each other.
He's the only guy I would fight like a brother.
yeah.
Like screaming.
I'm like, oh,
and-
Frank and I are gonna fight. I actually do have a story. One night in the main room, you were pissed for something. You gotta understand, working with that many people, you're already at this heightened, you know what I mean? Like you have managers looking at you, we're doing the money shit. You're seating 400 and then they leave and then 400 and you're managing a lot. So then you're going to snap on each other. It's just normal. But Frank and I had some words and then I was like, dude, I'm not done yet, you know? And I could tell he was still vibing me. And I was like, yeah, well, fuck you. And he was like, fuck you. And then I flashed back the time we briefly did Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and he was really good out of nowhere. And that went in his file. You know, I keep files on everybody, but like when Frank and I wrestled, like he flipped me over and got some choke, and I was like, oh, that's in there. Okay, that went in his file. And then when we got in this argument in the main room, I'm like, I'm gonna fuck this guy up. This is just his. And then I was like, oh, he knows jujitsu. I was like, it's not worth my, because I couldn't come back to the Comedy Store. Frank choked me out in the main room. I'd go to Flappers. I'd just go find somewhere else to be the funny guy over there.
And
you know?
I remember,
but that did go in your file. I never told you that, but I was like, oh, he knows jujitsu, and maybe it wouldn't work. Maybe, but it would.
oh no,
I wasn't
fucking. Yeah.
I wasn't willing to take those chances with my ego in front of the whole crew of guys, like, because that would just.
You would never hear the end of it.
Frank mounted him and choked Randolph out, and then every time I went to talk shit, they'd be like, "Yeah, dude, Frank, get your boy, calm him down." So that's one I have.
I remember, but one thing I do remember about our arguments is I'd get upset, and then I feel like I'd always apologize.
We would both always apologize.
Yeah,
always apologize very quickly.
Yeah.
Never. I don't like to stay mad, and you would too. We would cool down. Me and Derek would argue a lot, but then I was like, dude, I mean, Derek, we were yelling at each other so bad. It was like, I was like, dude, this is taking off years of sobriety for how I'm talking to him. We were just like, you motherfucker, and screaming. And then the next day, this is when I knew that Derek was a psychopath. I went to apologize, and Derek's like, about what? I'm like, the whole night I didn't sleep because of what I said and what you said. And Derek's like, oh yeah, we got a little thing last night. So what room are you in tonight? I was like, oh, you're a psychopath. Like, okay. You know, I love him. I say that with love.
Great.
I respected it. I was like, okay, now I can get crazy with Derek.
Well, yeah, you guys are all fucking my brothers, and I
know,
that
yeah,
100%.
They're all fucking your brothers.
Yeah. They're all fucking my family. All right, dope. Anything you want to plug before we get out of here? Oh, we should definitely plug Argos.
Plug Argos.
And Mudwater.
And Smuggling Duds. Have you been wearing your underwear?
I have. My wife has
I
been
bought Frank a bunch of
staring
sexy underwear.
Wow.
Yeah. And
It's your company?
No, just a spot. I'm an underwear model. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Very
I am
cool.
now
Yes, I
too,
was,
dog.
I guess.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
I'd like
right.
to see pictures of both of you
We
guys
are. You
on
wanna
the
see 'em now?
podcast.
Just
Yeah.
wait. Just
Yeah.
wait.
Oh, he's wearing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
And they have little drug pouches where your dick is.
Yeah.
So you
I
can-
just
you
put my dick there.
Oh, you just put that extra cock,
Yeah,
that extra gram of
extra,
cock.
yeah. I put my balls in each pouch. Thank you. That's a weird plug for our sponsor. All right, dope. Yeah, Mudwater's been great too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
Dude, thank you guys so much. Have a good day.
Shoots.